Today I want to show you something really beautiful and magical and peaceful. It doesn't take a long time, and so it's a perfect thing to do when you just want to let your stress melt away through creativity. I have two watercolor brushes, a pretty large one and a medium one, and I might use a smaller one too, like that. And then I'm using Daniel Smith watercolor, Perylene green, and indigo. And I might put in a little Rhodonite Genuine. We'll see how I feel. But for now, we'll stick with these. Now, most of the time I tell you to use whatever supplies you have, but to get the full effect of this, you probably want some higher quality watercolors. Just because the colors will move more, the pigment's stronger, it will just be more satisfying for you. So first take your big brush and just get water on it and make a puddle of water on the top half of your page. It can be any shape. Just give it a nice line along the bottom. Make sure it's nice and wet on the bottom there. With your smaller brush, get some color. So I'm gonna start with indigo, and you really want just a teensy bit of water but a lot of pigment. So load up your brush with that color, and what you're gonna do is just start to touch this bottom edge with your color. Isn't that amazing? Look at how it spreads. It's so beautiful. So that was the indigo. I'm gonna take my even smaller brush, and I am gonna get some of the Perylene green. Now both of these paints are very strong, and so they are going to spread really well. Some colors might be too light to make much of a difference, but you can just practice and experiment and see what happens. So there's my Perylene green. My water is puddling over here. That's why it didn't spread so much. But if I bring it back up to the wet edge over here, it's gonna spread into my blue. You can add extra droplets of color where it's wet if you want. And then we have this nice dark edge down here still. So let me finish putting some little lines out here. I'm gonna get my big brush again, and just with water again, make sure you tap your brush off on the edge. You want water, but you don't want it to be like dripping. So you're gonna take that brush and run it along the bottom edge of these colors. You don't have to touch everywhere. Just wherever you want. And do you see that color pooling in? It's so satisfying. I'm gonna bring it over here to touch my indigo. So that didn't spread as much this way because it started to dry. But that's when you bring in your tiny brush again, load it up with pigment, And then you can touch this edge with that darker color if you want it to spread even more like that. So there's no right or wrong to these. You're just using it as a little meditation as you watch the water flow with your colors. Just getting a little bit more perylene green. See if I want to add it to the edges a little. And there we go. I think that's good for now. Now, of course, if you have more time, you could do multiples of these with lots of different colors, or just use the same colors. And then notice what it looks like now while it's wet, and then just kind of sit here with it and breathe, because every time it dries a little bit, things start to change. So some of these puddles of color, the way they dry will look different. And so just challenge yourself to sit here with it until it dries. It will take, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. So it is a challenge, I will tell you that, but I know you can do it, and it's so worth it just to sit and look at your art and just enjoy the colors that you used and what you made. I'd love to hear how this went for you, if it was peaceful or stressful, what type of watercolor you used, and if it worked well. And I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me today. I'm all about helping you grow your own creative practice full of peace, intention, and curious exploration. Find out more when you visit jenfletcherart.com. I'll see you soon.